Chubby sponsor.
Acknowledge me.
Leveled by Marvin Constant, the redshirt freshman out of Tuscaloosa.
Oh, they go by now. Let him know he don't want to die.
65 yards, and the ball was thrown away from the line of scrimmage. Gerald Dixon.
Hey, you forgot to see my book.
And you see proper.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Great to see you on your favorite night of the week, no doubt. That is until college football Saturday starts, which coincidentally we are under 40 days away from Alabama versus Florida State. You have found yourself here on the Bama Standard. Listen, let's go ahead and do a few things before we really get rolling. We got a great guest tonight. You're about to see who that is in just a few minutes, but I want you to hit the like and subscribe button, live chat. Let's do your thing tonight. And I'll remind everyone, we do have an audience question and answer segment towards the end of the show. So please get them in. We're going to pin them, and then we're going to pull them up and let the panel of experts weigh in. If you are watching the replay, get in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. If we have a hot take that you think we're just ridiculous for saying, let us hear about it, and then we'll delete it. No, I'm just kidding. Feel free to say whatever you want. But listen, I'm your host, Justin Riley. With me, as always, we got an all-star panel headlined by a 1999 All-SEC linebacker when Ric Flair said to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man. Ladies and gentlemen, he is still in Marvin Constant.
What's up,
good
people?
What's up, Big
on?
Arms? Big Arms, what's happening?
I don't know if I have the bandwidth to cover that bicep, but we're going to make it happen anyway.
I love that T-shirt, bro.
I got you, man. When I go home, I'm going back to the spot. I don't even remember the name of the spot. I just know where it's at.
That's tough. The family, what is it? Family, friends, and football?
You know it with the Alabama A, baby.
That's dope.
I wish they would have put the Alabama in the family part, but it's all good, though. We'll talk about it.
Listen, we got family on here. We got another All-SEC performer, All-SEC defensive back. In 2002, when he was done at Alabama, he went on to the Buffalo Bills as a player and as a scout. He also spent some time with the DC Defenders and also was the first GM of college football. Ladies and gentlemen, he's one of the lead evaluators of talent in the country. He's usually world. He's usually on 247 Sports, but he hangs out with us on Mondays and Tuesdays. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Smoke Dixon.
What's going on? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I babysit Marvin on Saturday.
Ooh,
hey, Marvin, Marvin, I was in Marietta last weekend, right?
I did not know. You didn't tell me.
You know what? I didn't on purpose. But yeah, I'm telling you when I left. All good. Everybody else that was in Atlanta that needed to see me, I saw. But you,
no, you should have told me, man. I'd have pulled up.
Yeah, the kids are out there running. They did their track in Marietta High School.
Again, you should have told me. I would have pulled up.
I was supposed to get with Junior, my godson. That fell through. Once that kind of fell through, I kind of just was pissed.
Well, I ain't Junior. I'm a lot more flexible with my time when it comes to weekend stuff.
Sorry, we're talking family stuff again. Go ahead, Justin. I apologize. Get my man paid.
One family member that was kind of pushed aside for the last 15 minutes of that discussion was a man who dominated the strip while at Alabama for 15 years. No, he's not a doctor, but he is one of the most outspoken guys on this network. He is the host of the Opening Kick on Monday night with Smoke Dixon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Daniel Pettey.
That's right, man. Glad to be here as always, fellas. Marvin looking swole, Smoke looking good, Justin running the show. Hey, yeah, check that Opening Kick. If you missed last night, we had Siski on. We had a heck of a show. It was not as long as Braveheart, but pretty close. But every bit as good.
3 hours.
It was
3 hours with no overtime, Marvin. That's called workman's comp.
Oh, I see, man. I see. Well, Petty's on vacation clearly with the Jack Nicklaus shirt on. So
I'm still trying to get us that Chubby sponsor. I'm like, man, Chubby's gonna see this because if you famous guys would be like, Who's that good-looking guy wearing our shirt? We need to sponsor the Bama
Pettey over
Standard.
here with that Caddyshack throwback on.
Weekends at Bernie. Weekends at Bernie. Sure.
Pettey is always in style, but you know someone else who is always in style? Well, it's actually the sponsor of our show, main sponsors, the lead sponsors, Lambstone Company. Pettey, can you tell the folks about Lambstone?
That's right, Lambstone Company. Check them out at realrockstone.com. If you've dreamed of having that beautiful natural stone in or around your home, well, now's the time. Lambstone, located in Aniana, Alabama, one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. And if you tell them we sent you using the promo code the Bama Standard, you'll receive 10% off your purchase of stone today. So check them out after the show, of course, at realrockstone.com. That's Lambstone Company in Aniana. Again, keeping the lights on. Appreciate you guys. Rock.
Hey, real quick, I got RTR and Mimi. Very important record was broken yesterday by a family member of ours. Jaden Roberts has broken the Alabama squatting record with 900 pounds.
Amen.
A warm up.
Listen, shout out to Jaden for doing that, but don't ever put that much weight on your back. So
What on earth?
no way. It ain't you ain't gonna do that. Don't do it. It's only gonna hurt you moving forward.
I think he was only going 85%. He could have kept climbing.
Man, bro, Marvin, you're
Not
the
doing it.
Don't do it,
Marvin, that's your warm up, right?
man.
Listen here, brother. I never got under more than, I think, 625, and that was more than enough at the time. I don't serve no purpose.
Squatting is
No reason to have that your spine being compressed that much, bro.
Yeah.
It's a great number though. Shout out to him. He's really
Yeah,
cool,
fantastic work.
No,
Guy love
no,
hearing.
All right. But here's the thing about squatting 900 pounds. The
here
moment
we go.
you go,
Here we
no. The moment you do that and you say, I broke all these records, if your ass ain't drive blocking the hell out some people on these run plays, I don't want to hear about no 900-pound squat. You ought to be mowing through.
That's half a ton.
Tackles.
Well, we know he can do it. There's no
What's happening?
question that Jaden is the man who can
I'm
drive
just
folks
saying,
down.
there's no turning back after you do that number. Listen, anybody who line up in front of you, you better go crush them.
Hey, all right.
You can
So
squat half a ton. Yeah, you should block anybody, any human on planet.
Justin, this is why Marvin is saying this. It has nothing to do with Jaden. All right, Jaden.
I got
Yeah,
it.
nothing to do with him.
It's a tough, hard-nosed player. Strength isn't his issue. Balance and body control is more of his issue. Staying on his feet. But when we're at Bama, we had a few guys that were Ironman champions. That meant they were the strongest in their particular strength and conditioning group, the skill group, the mids and bigs. And throughout the years, Marvin and I have seen some of these guys, if not all these guys, were the first one to get crushed on the field, ran over, ran through, missed tackles. So we're a little bit, what word would you use, Marvin?
Not impressed as much.
Yeah, jaded by the strong guys because we know that some of the weight rooms, the weights don't fight back.
And here's the thing, you see a lot of those guys, they could barely move laterally and all this other stuff. It's like, see, we told you that was going to serve you no purpose.
Well, the strongest guy in y'all's time, no offense. I mean, we played against him in high school, but I don't remember him playing much at Alabama.
Who's that?
Robbie Staten.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I remember walking into the practice or the workout facility one time and seeing his name all over the leaderboard for.
I think didn't Robbie ended his career early, right, Marvin? I don't remember Robbie. He got medically
I don't think he
DQ'd for
finished.
backs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
just 'cause
I
of
think he
the
had some
weight and all
injuries.
that. Yeah, because the weights again, weights.
He was strong as ox.
Yeah, weights is good, but weights don't fight back.
Well, shout out to our guy, Jaden Roberts. And
Phenomenal.
if I start getting text messages from his mama, Twanisha, talking about y'all not supporting her baby, I'm going to. I'm just kidding.
So who had the record prior? I was asking.
DJ Fluker.
Fluker?
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
That's a shocker.
Hey, a man who did amazing things. But listen, we have another man who did some amazing things. We got a great show tonight. If you're coming in late, we are going to have the best wide receivers to ever come to the University of Alabama, who also witnessed probably the greatest era of wide receivers in Alabama history. He was a part of that. We're going to get his comments on some things that have been circulating about comparing this team to his team. We're going to get that firsthand knowledge, but let's go ahead and bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, he's one of the baddest dudes to ever catch that rock, one of the baddest dudes to ever be in the slot and anywhere on the field. He was changing lives, and he was giving Tennessee nightmares. Ladies and gentlemen, Slade Bolden. What is up, brother?
What's up, y'all? How y'all living? I'm sorry for being late. I decided to be on Bama Standard time today, so that's why I'm 10 minutes late. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing.
It's cool, man. That's how we operate, brother. So you're actually on time.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, I saw it was like the third person or the third talking point. So I was like, yeah, let me just wait till about 6:10. But man, I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm sorry it's been a while. You know, I always enjoy coming on this show. It's always a blast. And, you know, I think, Justin, I don't know if anybody else gives me a better introduction. And, you know, a little bit's exaggerated, but I appreciate the exaggeration. Trust me. So thank you guys.
No exaggerations here, brother. We witnessed it with our own eyes. Man,
how you been living?
Man, it's to be completely honest and transparent, which is, man, this is who I am always. It's been one of the hardest years of my life. I know a few of y'all have been through this, Marvin being one. I know I had the pleasure of meeting you two guys yet, but that transition out of any sport, I'm sure it's the same for baseball, basketball, any other sport, you name it. It's so hard, and it's not even the work, because at the end of the day, I've gone through probably the hardest things, not only in my personal life, but on the field at Bama, and even in the league, like the training camps, the fourth quarters, the all-season practices. I mean, obviously physically was super demanding, and mentally learning the playbook, keeping up with classes and your grades and the just meetings in general. That was all mentally tough, but we had a structure. You had a schedule. Here you got breakfast, you got meetings, you got class, you got study hall, practice, workout, whatever that was, and whatever, because obviously it changed once I got out of college. It was just meetings, working out, and it was just football, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had that schedule. Now it's on you. You are your schedule. You eat what you kill. You do what you have to do to be successful. And I did that obviously in sports. So I've been able to translate not only, discipline, my work ethic, and just dealing with adversity.
Mm-hmm.
It's and I'll kind of tell you guys what I'm doing now, but man, I went from wearing sweats and slides and J's, baggy jeans or tight jeans or rips and baggy tees to suits and slacks. I went from practicing, meeting, sweating in 100-degree weather to sitting behind a desk looking at monitors. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Those first few months, man, I'm telling you, it was so tough. But, luckily, I think my faith and my discipline and my work ethic, because I still wake up every morning at 5 a.m. All right, I say that. Let me back it up. Most every morning. There's some mornings where I can't get my ass up and save my life. But for the most part, I do a good job of keeping that, because at first, that was for me what helped me mentally was getting through that, working out, cold plunge, sauna, daily devotional. That's what helped me. But I'm telling you, it's different. It's not the work. It's just that transition. It's been hard, but finally I'm getting the groove of things. And if you can't tell, I look a little different today. I don't know if y'all noticed.
I noticed it, man.
I hadn't shaved this bad boy in years. I didn't recognize myself.
Well, one of the things I can tell you that I always tell people when they ask me, what was that experience like for you? My answer has always been the same for the past 20 plus years, and it's never going to change. Nothing in life prepares you for the moment that those lights turn off. Because again, that experience, the brotherhood, the resources, everything that comes with it is just so much. And the moment that ends and it ends like that, you're not prepared for it. And there's nothing that they teach you. There's nothing that they give you as a resource to prepare you for when those lights turn off. So when they turn off, oh boy, you on your own. You know, all you have to rely on is your brothers. And I ain't gonna lie, man. A lot of times that's difficult because you don't want to open up to the guys that you play with. Some of them are still playing, so you can't really go have these conversations with them because they don't understand yet. Other guys, they weren't as invested in the process of the game as you, so they don't understand where you're coming from. You know, it's like you feel so alone in that lane, like you have no one to talk to. And I've often said that schools should have counselors or people on staff to start preparing these kids, young men, for when their time ends, whether it's their senior year or if they get hurt before that, because not everybody goes to the NFL, but start mentally preparing them for that, for what's coming, because it hurts and it hurts bad.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, the only thing, what's going on, Slade, I'm one of the ones that tried to help Marvin go through that process. And the thing that I told Marvin, and I tell everybody else, there's no other career or occupation that you're going to retire in your 20s, or you get told you can't do the job anymore in your 20s, where you feel like you're at your peak, you're the strongest, you're the most focused, and then abruptly somebody says, hey, listen, you're not good enough. And rarely does an athlete get told that. And if you do, you get told not to believe it, keep fighting and keep going, because that's your motivation. And when I was helping Marvin or counseling some of the other guys, I always told them to just stay busy. Find something else that you can now put all of your time, effort into, just like you did in football. And if that's in the business world, attack the business world just like you did when you were an athlete. Because, again, there's no manuscript, there's no manual for us to say, hey, listen, when you are done, the day when you're done, you go see Mr. This, and then you go here, then you go here. There's no steps to it. But older guys like myself, and I pride myself on helping other young guys that graduated from Bama or anywhere else, just call. And when we get offline, I'll give you my number. And whenever you need somebody to sit down and talk to a rap to, just hit Smoke up. We can talk, because you can drive yourself into Great Depression.
Yeah.
When this game is taken away from you, because the way that you played it and the way that you attacked it, just the way that you talk about it. I've never trained with you, but you gave it your all. And when you give something your all and there's no true return value later on, you're like, man, why did I do this? You did it because you love it. But now you have to go on to step 2 of your career, which might be sitting behind a desk or blowing a whistle and coaching. But whatever it is, I would tell you, put the same energy and focus that you did in the football as in your job, because that's why they hired you, because they know you have that same tenacity, focus, and desire to get the job done. Go ahead, Marvin.
But you know the thing about it, though, Smoke?
Yeah.
The reason why most athletes struggle is because we all think we're the greatest thing ever at whatever position we've played.
And you have to think that way.
So that's what makes it difficult. And then when you say, whether you go into the office of business, hey, there ain't nobody in the damn office, I can go form tackle. So that was a tough sell for me. You know, it's hard to get out of the system.
Well, it's not form tackling, Marvin, but it's the same relentless attitude that you have.
Smoke, nothing replaces form tackling.
Just hear me out. I hear that. I 1,000% understand that. But the same way that you put the work and effort into becoming the best linebacker, the best receiver by studying your playbook, working out, doing extra laps, extra reps, it's the same way in the business world. That's why most people in the business world will hire athletes, because they know that we have that desire to be great at something, whatever it is. And once we shift our focus to it, typically we get to that level of greatness as well.
You know what they call that? Adaptability.
And that's what we do.
Slade, real quick, I know you mentioned things that changed. We've changed a little bit too. I forgot to introduce you. The manager spoke to you is Smoke Dixon. He was an all-SEC defensive back at Alabama in 2002. Played for the Bills, scouted for the Bills, was the first GM of college football. He also was with 247 Sports. And next to him is Daniel Pettey. He is a part of this show now, and he is killing it on his show Monday nights. But I want to give you a quick intro. Pettey has something for you.
Yeah, I think
Pettey.
Marvin, I will send you this shirt. I know you.
Please
don't
don't
wear the same size. So
Put a torch to it.
I think we were actually. I think I've been on with you when you were one of the last times you were on, Slade. But man,
Okay, well, I apologize. I know I recognize both of y'all guys. I'm obviously Smoke. I recognize you playing. I just, it's. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's been hit too many times, but man,
that's part of it.
I'll be forgetting shit. I don't know what it is, but it's another person. I promise.
No apology needed when I started it off with I think, because I'm not sure. I think we were on one.
Right.
I mean, I have to ask as well. But Smoke did a great job from the player's perspective of giving advice. But I really think this subject is really intriguing from a fan perspective. And not just that, me and Justin are only fans, but we're fans with a little deeper insight. I'm on a show with Smoke. We've got good relationships with so many of you guys that have played with Alabama. So we've seen a little bit more behind the curtain. Mm-hmm. But Reggie Ragland is really wax poetic on this subject, on when the lights go out as a player. And I kind of want to dive a little deeper because Smoke is talking about, taking transition into the work world and that. But I kind of want to ask, when you talk about when the lights go out and it kind of gets quieter, it's weird to hear that from a fan perspective because you guys stay legends. That's why shows like this do so well when we have guys like you on, while we have Marvin and Smoke on every week. And then, when we bring all these former Bama greats back, the reason it does so good is because y'all don't go away in the minds of the Bama fans. So when you say the lights going out, is it family that you don't hear as much from, or all of a sudden you had these close friends that aren't there? Or is it because you're not in the spotlight where all the fans are there to give you that adulation every Saturday in the fall?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. And I appreciate you saying that. That's something, man. If just to be honest, if I'm ever feeling down on myself, I just come back to Tuscaloosa because everywhere I go, it's like somebody knows me, recognizes me, wants a picture. Right. And I always tell that person, whoever comes up to me and either, says roll tide or, thank you for all you did here or want a picture, man, I immediately come back and say that means more to me than it does to you. And I hope you know that because it truly does. And because if somebody ever appreciated the work that I put into and the amount of hours and countless hours, I'm forever grateful for that appreciation. But I think to answer your question, the hardest thing for me, it wasn't really the spotlight. I never really cared. Yeah, like with social media and all this different stuff, the world's different. You do have eyes on you more. Yes, I'm losing followers now, like all this stuff. And, it's funny because now I'm trying to kind of attack the NIL deal. I wish we'd have had that. I wish I'd have posted more. I wish I was dancing on TikTok in 2020. Not really, but I don't know if I'd be dancing. I wish I'd have posted more because I think I could have capitalized, and then it wouldn't have mattered if I stopped playing or not. But no, I think for me the hardest thing is I always felt like I deserved, or not. That's the wrong word to put it. I always felt like I was going to play for 10 years because for me it was all about proving myself right. I never worried about what people said about me. Everybody said I was never going to play at Bama, never touched the field. I started playing and they said, oh, you're not going to start. I started, and then it's like, okay, you're never going to the league. I'm like, watch this, in my mind. But I didn't really care. Yeah, like there are some things that we can't as athletes just block out of our brains and not see. I mean, it's human instinct. But so, yeah, I did use some of the stuff as fuel to my fire and my burn. But I mean, for me, it was just like, I just had envisioned, and, I do believe in like, you want to envision success or envision a goal or whatever, and it comes true. And I remember I had visions of just holding a Lombardi trophy, being an MVP of a Super Bowl. And just like I had these visions of playing in the league for 10 years, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And luckily, there were times where I've gotten cut, in Baltimore and Atlanta, where I had to kind of deal with these internal questions in my mind, whether it was like, oh, is it done? Is it over? So mentally, I was able to kind of deal with it and prepare in some ways, not knowing that was, the UFL essentially was my last shot. Which, now I'll be honest, I don't know what the hell happened there. Couldn't tell you. I thought I was the best guy in that room. But I always thought that, when I got on that field, I looked at the guy across from me and said, "You're not going to be able to cover me today. You'll never be able to cover me." And I always thought I was better than the guys I was in the room with. Naturally, was I? Probably not. Probably not most athletic, especially the years I had at Bama. But you have to have that mindset. But yeah, I think it's really that. It's not. Yeah, do I love the idea of the fact that I was a starting receiver, a national champion, and one of Coach Saban's last national champion for Alabama, and kind of gained some notoriety and following, and was able to have success, and then play in the league, and that identity still exists. Yeah, I miss it. I love it. That's just my love for the game, but from just being recognized and having that cloud or that fame a little bit, I never really worried about that. I mean, that came with the territory. We all knew that, especially when social media became a deal. But for me, it was just knowing what I felt like I could do. Hell, I feel like I still can do. I mean, I still feel like I can play, and I don't know if I can, and I'm probably never going to get another opportunity to, but because I do have a new identity now and a new career that I'm very blessed to be, to have. And, it's just, I think for me, the biggest thing was not knowing and getting that taken away from me, because I felt like I was right there. Like I knew I was going to achieve all this success, and, and that's one thing, the Lord does mysterious ways. It's mysterious to us, but not to him. And, were there ever times where I was mad at him, like confused? Yeah, maybe, but I'm so blessed and grateful for what I've already been. I shouldn't even have gotten to Bama, if we're being completely honest.
Hey, Slade,
what's up, man?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to real quick.
No, you're not.
He's been on here many times. He knows how it works here.
No. Well, I love when people say that. It's like, man, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
I'm going to interrupt you anyway.
But it's a great segue to what I want to ask you. So, me personally, I don't know if you're familiar with who I am or what happened to me or not, but I got hurt on the last play of a game against LSU. 4 seconds left when the ball snapped. Last play of the game ends. Many times I run it back through my mind what could I have done differently? Should I have went with the tight end I was supposed to be covering, opposed to stepping up and tackling the quarterback? So many different thoughts and regrets, and just processing, how do we get here? Do you ever feel like, hey, maybe I should have came back an extra year? How do you process and deal with that?
Oh man, there's probably once or twice a week where I lose sleep. And here's why. I'm in bed and my mind starts racing, right? It's either the what ifs, what if I'd have done this? What if I'd have done that? What if I never got hurt in Baltimore? What if, I came back another year, or I transferred, or whatever the case was. And then it's like, football's gone. How am I going to make this new career work? Who I got to call tomorrow? Who I got to email tomorrow? Who do I need to meet with? And how am I going to figure this out? So those are the two things that I lose sleep at night, probably once or twice a week. And, obviously prayers help. But when it comes to when I decided to leave, because I know that's, especially if you go on social media, I've had plenty of people comment, should have stayed another year, would help your draft stock. I wish I could just sit here and tell everybody who thinks that, which, I wish I could reach everybody and tell them what I was thinking.
What were you thinking?
To be honest, I felt like if I would have came back, I would have either been in the same position I was the year before or worse. I'd have lost my job.
There you go.
And that's because I rotated with JoJo Earl, and I love JoJo. It's nothing personal. I love Joe. He's a great kid. I rotated with him my senior year, and I'm like, okay, he's coming back. I know how Saban is. And, yeah, I could have asked him, hey, coach, what do you think? I know what he was going to tell me. I've been in those meetings long enough and too many times to know he's going to tell me what I don't want to hear, and that's, hey, if you improve on this, this, and that, you'll play more. And that's like, okay, well, I'm still that guy. And, I think if it was either declare or transfer. And because if I'd have transferred maybe I would have gone somewhere, got more opportunities to help my draft stock. I just don't think coming back would have helped. I'd already got my master's degree. I was tired of school. Also, the big picture moment for me was I got sports hernia in training camp with the Ravens my rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
If I come back for a fifth year and that happens as well, because I'd already torn my left side was already torn, or I'm sorry, yeah, my left side was already torn. I tore my right side in camp, and then when I did the MRI, my left side was already slightly torn. So at some point that was just going to happen because it's just the wear and tear over years of playing with Coach Saban and all the things we did. So if I'd have came back for a fifth year, I'd have got hurt during fall camp and I was out for 10 weeks. That's a whole regular season. Okay, now I'm a sixth year because I have a COVID year. I'm 22 years old. I have no film to show for from my fourth year. Do I come back again or do I now transfer? It's all hypothetical. And so in my mind at the time, obviously I didn't know I was going to get hurt, but I was like, if I come back, I'm either A, going to be in the same position, so not help my stock, or B, lose my job. And, I just prayed and I finally just decided that was because I wasn't transferring, to be honest. The University of Alabama changed my life forever. I'll always be Roll Tide till I die. And that's who is going to take care of me after football. So I couldn't transfer because you know how it is. Once you transfer, they cut you out. You're done. So I was already kind of that year, like hated there about a couple games, couple weeks. And, our fans are, they kind of, it's what have you done for me lately? Not what have you done for me in general. But, it's just, I think that's what it was for me. Now, if I known NIL was going to go the way it was, hell, I'd still be in college.
I'd have a lawyer be filing for extensions.
I'd be Diego. I'd be like that tight end from Miami. I'd be, medical, another year. Let's run it back because I still had a following. Like, I'm curious what I've made. I don't know what I'm going to get on this compensation deal, but that's 10 years. It's going to be ridiculous.
You probably been let me see. Your last year at Bama, you say you sit out that fifth year and you don't play because of some freak injury and you hit transfer portal.
Yeah.
42. Your last year, 42 for what? 500 or 700, somewhere around there. 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, about that. Mm-hmm.
A slot, a Sultan of the slot, savvy. I probably would have gave you about $150.
Well, no, Smoke.
That's
I appreciate that, but you see what I look like on the screen. I had a decent following now. You know that social media has a lot to do with it. Yeah, that's social. So being one of the only guys that look like this on the field playing receiver at Bama, that helped. So I always say because of that, I'd have probably had more. But based on stats.
If he wore this chubby shirt, he'd probably actually get the sponsorship. Yeah. I'm trying to get.
Well, without question.
All I'm telling you is I would have gave you $150. The other money that you earn off the field, I would have helped you with that too. But payment plan, we'll get you right. I'm a baller budget guy anyway, man. I was thinking around there. I always tell people a quarter. That's what I always say. Like coming out of a junior year, scoring in the Natty. Going into my senior year, if I'd have had it my whole career, right? If I'd have had it coming in as a freshman, because I'd have got probably just the minimum of what every scholarship kid gets, and then maybe a little bit more because I started playing sophomore year, and then I think after starting, I think I could have got up to quarter now. Maybe could have made about half on the side.
Your TikTok accounts and everything else. Hell yeah!
I feel like I'm not an ugly dude, right? I think I could take some pictures, videos for some brands.
Tell us the truth, Slade. You wanted to be the first male on the cover of CoverGirl.
Hey, whatever it takes, whatever they're paying. I always I never looked good enough without clothes on, but like Julian Edelman was on the Sports Illustrated, like Saquon, all them. I was like, I could do that one day.
Listen, you could have done you could have done a ton. You got an awesome speaking voice. You can hold a conversation. You could have done a ton on podcasts.
He does.
Yeah, you listen.
See, I'm hit it late, Smoke. I hit my content peak late.
You hit it on time. You still got
Yeah,
it.
you actually
You
have.
still got it, bro. Don't let nobody tell you lost it. You still got it.
No, I appreciate that. And that now what I'm kind of looking at it is, and I do have like a couple brand deals, one being like a supplement company.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really want to do, and I like Bring the Juice Pod, I've got really close to the guys that run that. And, you know, as they grow, obviously they don't pay me for that. Now they take care of my travel, which, you know, I appreciate them for doing that. And I just love it. I always tell people any chance I get around the game, whether it's coaching, hell, running routes for somebody or just talking about it, I'm all there, you know, because I don't get to do it as much. So any chance I get, I'm all in. But like, we still talk about life. We still talk about other stuff that's not just football. So I do like talking about that because in my mind, I feel like, you know, we're on this earth for a reason, right? And that's to serve people, to be a light in this world, and, you know, to help people. And if I can share my story and my, you know, how I transition, and I'm going to do more content like this. I've already tried to get, you know, talked about it, got in the works. It's just like a day in the life, but like it's real. You know, it's you know, my boy who does a really good job video and editing out here in Texas called Starting Five. You know, we talked about getting in the car, and I'm like, I'm working. Like I am going in, I'm dropping in on companies, but in the meantime, we're in the car, he's videoing me, and I'm just talking about like how hard it was, you know, that transition, because I'm not the first and I won't be the last guy that's had to go through that. If I could just touch one person and be like, oh man, well, if he's able to do it, but he's struggling, he knows he's struggling, but he's understanding that, you know, the struggle is what makes you better and you learn from it. I can do that too. And I think, and that's with, you know, my faith, that's with just helping guys out that played. I'm starting to kind of get into that. And it's not because I want to blow up. It's not because I want to get famous, and it's not because I want to get more deals. It's really, truly because I feel like I've lost on some time to like really share my platform as in the most positive, beneficial way as I could when I was playing, because I didn't really care. I'll be honest, I didn't care about social media. I posted 3 times in the season. I wasn't worried about who we had that Saturday.
Slade, you know the crazy thing about what you just said, and it's so true, and I try to do a lot in terms of giving back. Like every time that we had some type of guest speaker at training camp at any level, they always brought back people that were successful athletes, not former athletes that careers ended in 3 or 4 years and said, hey, you know what? After 3 years, this is what I did to transition. They rarely do coaches bring that person in. And I think the more you get the Slades of the world to come back, Marvin, Smoke, whoever, that can share other than a Chris Samuel's life. And Chris will probably tell you that, hey, mine was cut short too. And this is how I transitioned. But we need to hear more transition stories and ways to get through, because you're never just going to say, oh, it was great. Just ideas and thoughts, platform, work opportunities for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But Smoke, I want you to touch on something while you're touching that. The reality is there's way more guys that aren't in our situation, that aren't successful, that can't make that transition, that don't know how to put it together because all they know is football. We are actually the minority, because I know so many dudes who, when football ended, that was it. It was just they could not pick up the pieces. It's not easy.
Yeah. And the sad reality of it is when some school, you know, the guys that went to these certain schools, once they found out they were going to make it next level in football, everything was handed to them, grades, you know, classes, everything. So they didn't know how to really do anything outside of just playing on Fridays and then eventually Saturdays, because that's all that everyone cared about. It's all they got catered to. So when that thing ends, it's hard to transition. It was hard for me, and I felt like I was always very responsible. You know, I'm a smart guy. You know, I'm not just that. Trust me, I ain't that smart. But I always just felt like, hey, at the end of the day, I know I'm going to be fine. I got 2 degrees, barely, but I got them. That's all that matters. And, you know, I think, and like what you said, hit on what you said, Smoke, you hit it perfectly. who's more relatable? A guy like me, Julio Jones, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. To the majority of the world, who is more relatable?
You.
I'm probably more relatable just because I'm regular Joe Schmo now, in the corporate world, right, of things. I obviously, I go to meet with a Bama alum, I'm wearing my ring, maybe I am a little high step up compared to the last insurance broker which is what I do. Insurance broker they met with, maybe. But at the end of the day, it all matters is, did you get that sale or did you get that company to switch to you? That's the stats. It's not about who you play for, who you are, how many receptions you call and all that stuff. So I hear what you're saying, Smoking. That's kind of what my idea with some possible content moving forward.
Call me. I can add to it.
You'll get banned by the FCC. Okay.
It's a Slade show, baby. Slade and Marvin.
Marvin don't know how to handle that, but
Hey,
no,
man,
we got
listen,
you.
I had a great transition from football, man. It was tough. So I'm saying, like I say, for you, it was ended the way it ended. For me, it happened unexpectedly. That's a whole different animal when it's unexpected.
Yeah.
Slade, I know we got you for a few more minutes, and I want to touch on some things.
You're good.
And we talk about that 2020 national championship team, and then the year following. We can't really think about it without mentioning your name. You're one of the key parts of that. Any Alabama fan that follows that team will definitely attest to that, no question. So when you start to hear all the comparisons of this team to that team, I'm kind of curious as to what comes to your mind. And I kind of lead off on the first question. We kind of talked on a little bit, didn't go into too much detail. You spent a lot of time with Mac Jones. You watched him go to war, just biding his time, possibly being told no, dealing with adversity. And finally, his senior year, he has the opportunity. He goes off. Well, people feel like Ty Simpson is going to follow that same path. He's bided his time. He's gone to war. And now the team essentially is his. So when you hear the comparisons between those two journeys, what comes to your mind? Is it Bama fans just desperately clinging to that past and possibly the history repeating itself? Or is there something possibly there?
I think probably a little bit of both, but I did see a lot of Mac in Ty. He was getting recruited when I was a senior. He was a senior in high school, and he was coming to pretty much every home game we had on visits. And I kind of felt like I took him under my wing a little bit. He'd come to our after game house party or whatever we would do after games, chop it up. And I really liked him as a person. Obviously, I knew he's a great high school player, but I never saw it. So when I came back, I want to say after I got cut by the Ravens and I did my third pro day, which was ridiculous, but I did it, had to get in front of scouts somehow. And he was throwing to me a lot during that time because I knew meal ticket was going to start, but I didn't want to bother him too much. I didn't want him to throw in extra or taking his mind. He would have for sure. That's my guy, but I felt like Ty would have been. He's sophomore at this time. He's probably not got a lot of too terribly important things. Not saying he had important things going on, but I knew that he, in some form, looked up to me at one point, and I think he was willing to help me out. And he really surprised me. Not in I knew he was a good player, but it was a few sessions we had. I mean, he could really, really let it rip. I mean, I've seen some really good quarterbacks in my time. I've played with Mac, Bryce, Tua, Jalen, Lamar Jackson. And the way those guys let the ball fly is different. When it's different. The way you catch it, the way it comes at you when you're coming out of a break, you could tell who's got it and who doesn't. And I was like, Ty's got it. He's accurate. Now, look, we're no defense, no pressure, shorts and shirts, but just the way it comes out of his ball, or the way the ball comes out of his hand, the types of throws he was making to me, I was like, this kid's going to be special. He can run well. He's smart. He's disciplined. And he's got that chip on his shoulder like Mac had, just that swag. He's got some swag to him too. You got to have a little bit of swag to play quarterback. That's why I played QB, because I had swag, but just didn't have this bad boy. didn't have the arm. I could run though. I could run. That's it. But no, you got to have that calm, cool, collected swag. It's like, yeah, I might talk a little shit, but I'm not going to let that chirping get to me. It's next play mentality. And I think Ty, that's what I feel like he's probably improved on the most, is mentally, because we would run routes and, he's still young. He's still a pup at this point. And like he kind of get frustrated with a certain throw. If he's like a little off target, I'm like, man, look, don't worry about it. You know how many times I've dropped balls? Like, it happens. That's how I look at it when the quarterback misses a throw. But he has all the tools in the toolbox. I mean, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a good leader. Obviously, I was around him a lot this year because I went to a lot of games. Kind of what Mac had to go through is similar to what Ty went through this year. It's tough. That just waiting your turn. But, like, to me, that just gives me more respect to him. It shows his resiliency. It shows his patience. And I think those things can also make a great quarterback. Let's at the fourth quarter drive, we got to come down. We got to go 65, 70 yards down the field with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. How much resiliency do you have to make this drive? And I think all the stuff that he went through is going to prepare him for those kind of moments, even though it is physical. But this game is so mental. We all can play at that level. It doesn't matter how fast, how strong, how tall, how big, whatever. We all can play. It's your mindset going into that next play. That's what matters the most. And I think what he's gone through is only going to help him, because he's not just going to be thinking, he's reacting. And he's so smart. He's going to be able to react to the defense. He's going to know every coverage, just like how Mac did. Mac dissected defenses like I've never seen, other than Bryce. Bryce was damn near right there with him, or just as good from a preparation standpoint to in-game scenario as well. And I'm excited for him, because I look at him like another one of my little brothers, which I feel like I have so many at this point. It's like all my buddies I played with and all my best friends, they're little brothers. Like, I just went to Riley Quick's draft party where he went first round. I don't know if y'all know him. He's a pitcher at Bama. Stud. He is like my little big brother. I mean, he's a big old boy, but I'm like their third son anyways. But anyway, like, I look at him like another little bro, and I always just told him, and I messaged him over the years when I'd see him, we chop it up and try to give him some encouragement, but because he also reminded me of myself in ways, the way he carried himself, the way he talked to people, the way he handled conversations and treated people. I think so I saw a little bit of both, and so that's why I kind of took him under my wing, just during that small period of time where he was coming back and forth, and then he early enrolled as well, so I was still there training when he was there. So I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him, and I think he's going to do really well. And I hope he does just as well as Mac, because that means we're going to have a hell of a year.
You said you played with Tua. Jalen was around. Mac was around. At what moment did you have that aha? Mac Jones is going to be a first round or national championship quarterback at Alabama. Do you remember that one time or that one play at practice?
That's a tough question. I mean, because there's so many times I can count. I think for me, it was just being on that scout team with him. Just seeing him make throws that are like, that's not a scout team quarterback. Like just tearing up a number one defense in the country. And I wasn't always his number one target on scout team, but I caught a lot of those balls. But I think when I really saw a gear switch in Mac was probably after he started sophomore year. He had to come in for Tua. and he played pretty well. I mean, he balled. He made some
did.
mistakes, but like a young guy would do. But I mean, you take away. I mean, he did have one shitty interception. He will tell you it was so bad. But the one where hit Minajee in the back. I mean, we got all big personnel. No one's tracking down a linebacker at that point. Like, come on, our fullback missed the block, so he had pressure. He tried to get out quick. Najee didn't turn around in time. That's football. Shit happens.
Right.
He balled out that game. I mean, and we would have been in playoffs if we'd have won. So, like, I think after that, and then, you don't win a game like that, people just hammer you. And I remember we were roommates at the time. This was even before he started. And I walked in, and he had just moved in, and because he was in another dorm room. And I'm like, man, what are all these cutout pictures of? Like, what are these screenshots? And he's like, oh, yeah, these are tweets about me. And I'm like, you got a problem. I'm like, you need to take this shit down. This is not healthy. But that's just how he was. Like, he is wow. He's obviously like, you don't really know how Mac is, but he's like, he's a savage. I'll be honest, he is a savage, and he's a dog. Like, he's got some culture in him a little bit. Like, he's got that little chip in his shoulder that he's gonna thug that shit out if he needs to, and he's got that dog, and that's, I see a little bit of Ty with that, but I think seeing him on scout team, seeing his work, and then, man, every Sunday during the off season in 2020, before the season, we can only go when the facilities were open. Mm-hmm. Like, after that, the facilities were closed, or not. I'm sorry, when it was like mandatory, scheduled, football only stuff. After that, we couldn't go to the facility. Like, no, we can't go, recover or get an extra workout in or whatever. So me and Mac on Sundays would go to the rec fields. Mind you, grass, maybe average. There's no lines on the field, no numbers. And we're out there just reps after reps after reps. Obviously, for me, it helped to get on his, like, I was already, like, on his same telepathic wavelength, but that just even increased our chemistry. But just seeing him not only willing to throw whenever and wherever, obviously I was the guy he wanted because he knew I was going to show up. He knew I was coming. But those Sundays of just throwing routes on air with nothing. No, like, hey, you got a 14-yard dig or 12-yard curl. Where's the 12 yards at? For me, it's tough because I got to rep it and know it. But that type of stuff really showed how dangerous he was. What's up, Mark?
For the kids listening out here, the high schoolers, if you want extra reps and you're in the Tuscaloosa area, do not go to the rec field. I will give you the cheat code. Go to the Alabama band practice field. It is turf and lined.
See, I'll tell you, Mark, the reason they closed the band field on us.
What?
We couldn't go there. Yeah, so, trust me, that's where we started going at first. Like, naturally, we're going to be on an actual field. Now, I will say that turf's hard as hell. That turf brutal. But they started, like, patrolling that turf field. So we're like, all right, screw it. We'll go out here. And I'm so glad we did because it just made us that much better, made me so much better. And eventually we went on to have a pretty damn good season.
Man, and hey, let's not knock those intramural fields. Like, I dominated that area. Not just the strip. I dominated the intramural fields while y'all were on the big one with the people watching.
With the people watching.
That kind of leads to my question. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna bring it to the current wide receiver, Slade. But
yeah,
you seem pretty self-aware based off that comment about being more relatable than some of the other names that have come through. But let's be real, like, there is levels to everything. I mean, me and Justin, we played under the Friday Night Lights. I dominated the intramural fields, but you did start at the University of Alabama. You walked, but like you kind of talk about these names, you played with some of the biggest names in the history of Alabama, and you were able to find your spot on the field with them. But what is that, again, like, we all dreamed, me and Justin dreamed of running through those tunnels, but we didn't have it in us to do it. You did. but then you go up and, like you said, it's pretty self-aware. How does it raise your level to play with guys? I mean, again, you walked into maybe one of the best wide receiver rooms in college football history.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that. I always thought I was on that level. Like I deserved to be there. I was supposed to be there, and I went to Bama knowing that I was going to be in a room with guys that started as freshmen. Mm-hmm. And I had Jalen Waddle in my class. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't know Jalen was going to be that good. I found out real quick how good he was, and that didn't take long at all. But I knew going in, like, I was going to be surrounded by these guys. But I told myself, if I wanted to be the best, not maybe just the best, but the best version of myself, the best man, the best player, the best competitor, I not only have to compete with the best, play against the best, but be coached by the best. And where is that the best at? University of Alabama. So that's really what was my mindset. And I don't even know how, as a 17-year-old kid, I was thinking that. I really don't know. But that was one of the many reasons why I went to Bama. And it made me a better player. I don't think if I'd have went anywhere else would I have become as good as a receiver, because I came in as like an athlete technically and mainly played quarterback. And when I did play receiver, I was just athletic enough and fast enough to run decent routes. And I always had these puppies though. These, hey, you can't get these at Walmart or Best Buy. Let me tell you, you better find some an exclusive deal on them. But that's all I had. I knew I had that. But that's the thing is, like, I would, people ask me, why did you transfer? Why did you not go? Because I almost went to TCU, which is funny. It's a full circle moment for me now that I live in Fort Worth. But I don't think I may have got more receptions and more targets, maybe better stats. But I think as a competitor, as a ball knower, right? It's a new thing that everybody's saying. But as just a receiver and as a man, I learned from those guys. I took different things from each one of those guys I played with and developed it and translated it to into my game and how I was going to able to use that. So, and I couldn't, I can go on and on about the things I couldn't do, like Judy, Smitty, Ruggs, Waddle, Metch, J-Mo, but I could take a few things from each one of them that I really liked and how they did it, but I had to do it in my way. Mm-hmm. And I give a lot of credit to Coach Saban for giving me the opportunity. I get a lot of credit to Coach Wiggins, he also was a great teacher, great mentor, and overall, just like kind of having a father out there when you're away from home. So I did learn from all other people, not outside of just our receiver room, but man, those guys made me so much better. I don't think I'd have been able to get on the field as fast as I did without being in that room, because we held ourselves to even a higher standard than the Bama Standard. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, no, and that's why y'all are champions, and it did. You did answer it great. That was powerful. Beautiful. I don't think you could have answered it any better. But you mentioned something in there, like you said, you came to Alabama because you wanted to be the best. You wanted to push to be the best, and obviously that's where winners and champions. That's where you've got a different mentality, and you just kind of displayed it in that answer. But let's relate it to the fans out there, to the current. You seem to Ty. I don't know how well you're attuned with the roster now, but like you said, man, when you came in, I said y'all were one of the best, but there, the Julio, there was guys before you. It was kind of on Mari. Y'all are a continuing tradition. But let's be real. The wide receiver core the last couple of years hasn't been what it was for that run during the Saban era, but we're kind of hearing whispers with Hollywood going into a second year, Horton coming over from Miami. I know my boy Smoke is really high on what he's seen out of Bernard, and so are a lot of other people. What do you know about this year's receiving core, and can it kind of get back to that level standard that y'all really set while you were there?
Are you talking about the ride out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ride outs, baby.
The ride outs.
I love it.
That's who I'm specking.
Hey, that's just like the board coming in and replacing Saban. I mean, not obviously as big picture, but I mean, that's a tough receiver group and I'm not talking about me. That's just those guys. I mean, that's a tough receiver core to not just replace, but live up to, because you had Julio, Amari. I know Kevin Norwell was a great player. Marquise Mays was great. Protho was great. But really it's just Julio, Amari, and C. Ritt. Like those are like the 3 first-round picks.
Right.
I don't even think they played together. Did they even all play together at any time?
Nope.
Just think we had 4 and really 5.
It was dumb.
Because if Mechie doesn't get hurt, I think he's going first round. And he went the second round pick? I mean, he went right after first round. And you take to me 5 first round picks in one room. I mean, that takes up 10 years of Saban era, right? So imagine trying to live up to that, just like Milroe having to live up to Bryce.
Yeah.
Just like Ty having to live up to Bryce. Or Bryce living up to Mac living up to Tua. It's just AJ, all these guys, it's just it blows my mind. And look, I'm sitting here in this spot with a Reposado on the rocks watching the Vanderbilt game last year, and I almost acted like the fans because I was pissed. And I was like,
okay, Marvin doesn't do. You're in good company.
Yeah. I'm like sipping. At first I was like, I'm just gonna, I'm staying at the house on a Saturday. I'm just chilling. Me and my other former teammate Pierce Quick, that's the older brother of the one the pitcher got drafted. He lived 2 minutes up the road from me for a little while. We were sitting here. I'm just gonna have a chill Saturday. We're playing Vandy, and ain't any point in going out. Like, we got this game in the bag. And I'm sitting there, I'm having some sips. And like, all right, well, we're not playing that well in the first quarter. Second quarter didn't really go that great either. Now I got a second glass. I was probably gonna have 2. 2 was probably gonna be it. I probably had 5 by the end of that game, and I'm yelling. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm just livid, and I'm like. I look back and I'm like, I'm just acting like the same damn fans that I hated hearing from in the first place, because everyone expects that level that and I say we're spoiled. I say I get it. Look, when you have success and you have that standard and that expectation to be this that high level of success, I get it. I do get it, because I expect Bama to be what I was a part of. Now it's a lot different. Obviously, it's almost like a 180. So I caught myself being that way too. And so I do think these receivers are great. I think obviously Hollywood is generational. But I like Jeremy a lot. I think he's got some really great route running. I think he makes very good competition catches, or we call it 50-50 balls, just like in traffic, and with somebody on you. I think he's not going to blow you away with speed, but I think he does a great job running good routes, getting open, and catching the ball. And now he's even more experienced. He knows the system even more. We're going to have DeBoer's OC. We got, I think, more of a DeBoer quarterback. I love Milroe to death. I want the ball in his hands every play. He's the best athlete when he touches the field, every field he touches. He should have the ball in his hands every play. I think that just makes sense. But he's maybe not just DeBoer's quarterback. And I think that's a tough adjustment. And people are always like, well, DeBoer. And I'm like, guys, who do you think he replaced? Like, imagine that. Imagine. Like, I couldn't even fathom the pressure. I would never take that job. And maybe that's saying something about myself.
If they offer you the $100 million, you take it.
Well, $20 million, I'd take it.
When you start talking dollars, when we're talking this normal sense,
You can give me $500 million. I'll be out there throwing
he'd be the
first. I go 3 and 7 for million. I tell them, bring me my money.
The best job in the planet right now is fired SEC football coach. Give me that.
Oh man, dude, I'm telling you. I mean, we had Butch Jones, Major Applewhite, Charlie Strong, God, I know we had another one, and they're all fired. And our 2020 staff is analysts, still getting paid from the team. They can't. They're just chilling, which I love them all. It's so funny seeing them.
Fire me.
Yeah,
Kids today are buying globes, and there's an island somewhere on it that says Island Jimbo Fisher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Slade be the first take. Slade would be the first head coach with ripped jeans and J's on his feet on that sideline.
Well, I can't wear that now, so I'll probably get away from it. Yeah. I gotta be careful when I got in public. I mean, I don't mind. What if I run somebody I'm trying to do business with? And they're like, may not be doing business with him. But that doesn't mean I still, you can take me out the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of me. Yeah. I still got the beater and the chain still there. Just you got a button down on the top.
So you have half a case of PBR in the fridge.
No, because they blow me. I got Michelob, which I think is probably a little soft of me. But I tell you what's in the other side of the fridge in the freezer. Oh, I love it. No, but I do think we got a great receiving core. I don't know much about Horton. If I did, I'd tell you. But I'm not gonna act like I do. I've heard some good things. I do have some buddies that are a little more involved, and still have some friends that are on the staff. But I know he can take the top off a little bit. I've heard that. Heard he's got some speed to him. He's also coming from experience. We got him in earlier. We didn't get him in the summer. So I think a good spring and summer and training camp under his belt is only going to be more beneficial. Just like with JMO, if I had to compare him to anybody, not that that's a different type of speed though. Don't quote me on that, Justin. I already see you right now. Slade Bolden said Isaiah Horton's the next JMO.
Mind your business, Slade.
I meant like in a scenario comparison, like getting him in early on. I think JMO came in before the summer though, so that's even better for Horton to get in a little earlier. But you never know with these guys. I mean, JMO didn't have anything crazy stats. We knew he could fly. But it's like, is he really that good? He didn't start at Ohio State. We're better than Ohio State. Is he going to start here? You don't know, but it's all circumstantial. And he was with Olave and
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, Jackson. I can never say his name.
And Jigba. So that what I would say is that room was as talented as the Ridehouse room that you were talking about. So him leaving was him just wanting to get to somewhere else to get an opportunity. But he's damn good too.
Yeah. So I think we have a great O-line. I think that's, to me, that's where it starts. We got a very experienced center, same guy, Proctor, Jaden Roberts, who's just absolutely throwing around weight. Is that tweet true? I don't even if his mom's like 100 pounds off, that's still ridiculous.
I talked to him earlier.
Half a ton.
I talked to him earlier.
Dude, he don't even. I don't want him putting that kind of weight on him. He's gonna get. I don't want him getting hurt. Like, why are we throwing around 900 pounds? It better have been a safety bar. It better have been a box under him, and I'm talking a high box. And he better have about 4 people surrounding his big ass, because I don't need him dropping. Letting the bottom go, because I love that kid to death. By the way, he was a freshman my senior. He's a mess, but he's a dog. And I'm trying to think of some other guys. But I think our defense is always going to be sound. I thought Womack did a great job. I like him as a person as well, because you meet somebody and you kind of get a read. And I feel like I've always been good at reading people, especially meeting them in person. Whether they're fake or they're real or they're bullshitters, and I felt like he's a real dude. And just like coming into a new system, new territory, new players, like you're gonna have struggles. It doesn't matter how good of a coach you are. So I'm super excited about this year. I know y'all are. I'm ready. I'm trying to go to the FSU game. One of my best friend's little brothers is starting center at FSU. So I'm going to see if I can finesse him to getting me, because they got money. So who knows where they're going to be sitting? But you can give me a student ticket because away games is kind of hard for us guys to get tickets sometimes. But yeah, so I'm excited for this season. I'm just ready to be football season in general. Baseball, I loved it. I played it. I ain't watching this shit.
Not the same. Like watching paint dry.
Marvin,
I like going to a baseball game because I was in San Diego 4th of July, Padres Stadium, beautiful, Petco Park. I mean, I enjoyed that. I mean, that was just a fun trip in general. And I went to Wrigley Field a couple of weeks before that. But I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. But you know, I ain't gonna go watch no high school baseball game. I'll go watch a high school football, especially out here in Texas. I'll go watch a high school football game for sure. They get after it.
Live baseball, Major League Baseball is wonderful. But Major League Baseball on TV is like watching paint dry. I mean, WNBA, Major League Baseball, put them on the same thing.
Yeah. If there won't be pads popping, I'm not coming.
There we go.
I love watching Major League.
You said you're a big WNBA fan, right?
If there won't be pads popping, I'm not watching.
Hey, Kalen Carr gets to throwing hands sometimes.
She will.
Something.
Listen, my TV is set for one thing: football. And outside of football, the first 48. That's all you're gonna find on my TV. Okay.
So you trying to tell me you watched UFL?
Some of it, yeah. But I had time. Yeah.
Marvin, when it gets midnight and there ain't nothing else on TV and they got those girls in shoulder pads and skirts, Marvin watches that.
Listen, man,
that's like the 500 channels, right?
Hold on. I will tell you this. Football season, I am waking up at the crack so that I can get my workout over with. If I'm on my grill, so I can get my grilling done. And when that first game kick off at 11 or noon, whatever time it is, I'm watching all the way till 1, 2 a.m. to the West Coast teams close it out.
Yeah, because you're betting. You're a gambler.
Let's see. We got Sacramento State versus San Diego State.
Marvin was that guy.
Hey, look, real quick. Look at so how many points do they score per game? Don't you take the over or under here?
Non-gambling related.
We all know that guy that bets on Hawaii at 2 a.m. trying to make it all back.
But yes, and he'll tell you about the following week when we're doing our recap show. But Marvin, non-gamer related, what you got for Slade before we get a few of these fan questions in?
First and foremost, I'll give you credit, Slade. You know, I always like to give, slot receivers their credit because I feel like out of all the positions, slot receivers definitely the most difficult. People don't understand. A lot of people underestimate what it takes to play slot receiver, man, because there ain't no way in hell I would run across the middle of the field when I know it's somebody like me over there that all they want to do is knock my teeth out. No, I'm not running over this. So, so kudos to you for that, man. And looking at this current team, wide receivers, if you ask me, are some of the better judges of defensive backs and vice versa. When you look at defensive backs, they're some of the better judges of wide receivers. So when you look at the secondary of this current team, which DB do you feel like will have a breakout season?
Oh, how about I want to say my twin, Bray Hubbard.
Yes.
I think he's gonna be good, but I want to see Sav come back. I think he's a talented player, and I think just what happened last year, unfortunate. I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm trying to think. I know the kid that started as a freshman at corner,
Jackson
Brown.
Xavier Brown.
I think he's got some shit to him. Honestly, trying to see what Kirkpatrick Jr. can do. I got close with Dre this year. We were somehow ended up in the same box 3 weekends in a row, and he's obviously big fan of his son, and but I like to see what he can do. I'm trying to think of who's probably replacing that nickel where Malachi mainly played last year. I'm not too involved with the defense, but I'm just trying to think of some guys, even the back. I know their D line's treacherous. I mean,
I'm more focused on the secondary with this question.
That's all I got. I don't know anything else. I get to talking and I'll go through the whole deal.
Slade, you hit the main ones. You're dead on it. Who I think also are going to step up and give you a good opportunity to have a good. I think they're the loaded secondary. I think Jackson is good. Brown is good. Calhoun, the transfer that came over from Utah, is going to give us an opportunity. Dejon Lee, I think, bona fide star in the making.
Yeah.
Ike Taylor's son.
Ivan Taylor.
Ivan
Taylor.
Taylor. He's a beast.
That's what I'm looking to see.
Dre's
Smoke
son
is
a problem. It's just a young group that you're when you have a receiver group that's competitive and really good, and I think that's what Marvin's trying to get to. You have that DB group, just like when you guys had the ride out. That secondary was a problem, but just because of the natural matchups.
You remember who was on that secondary?
The defensive player of the year in the NFL last year.
Yeah, how'd that go in practice, Slade?
Luckily, I was inside a lot. I didn't get on that island. Hey, but I mean, I'll tell you who, and I'll still to this day, who I had the most trouble with was Brian Branch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, and he was a nickel, and like he's probably the best nickel in the NFL.
Yep. And then we had Xavier there. I'm going against Trey Diggs. I'm going against. I mean, honestly, like I didn't see Pat as much, but I saw a lot of Job, and Job was. I don't know how he. I think he had some. Yeah, he had some. He would. You make mistakes on the field, but it was real. I think he got some injuries. I think that's really why he went undrafted, because I always thought Job was just.
Job was
super tough to get. Yeah, long as hell, strong as hell. Just one of those guys that just can never lift a weight in their life and just still be an absolute freak.
Because he's so long and wiry, man. Them long guys inside is tough.
Sometimes I was wondering if he knew that he was playing football and not being in the WWE based on some of the tackles he was making. Because I saw him. It was
crazy. And this is usually how it goes, because DeMarco Hellams was like that too. He just get on that field and something switches, and that's the defensive guy. That's what happens. Marvin, I know you know. Smoke, I know you know. It's just that's what happens. But off the field, Joe was like the nicest guy ever. Like literally, like we battled. But I'll tell you one who was like underrated. Y'all don't maybe. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know y'all remember him, but like doesn't get talked about. Jalen Armour-Davis was savvy.
Yes, he was.
Super savvy.
Yeah, dude, he was incredible.
He was so good. Like he had the injury bug. He still got it, and awesome guy, family man. Like just overall one of the better teammates I've had as a person. But man, I would be running a route against him. And I'm like, I can't get his separation because he have his hand somewhere I didn't even know. Like them guys that got that savviness, they'll find little ways to hold you. Like they're right there with you, but they'll find a little. I don't even know where. I'm like, where the hell is your hand? He's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, damn it, Jalen. I'm not worried about you guarding me. I need to know if somebody else is gonna do this and I can get off of it. But and we saw each other again in Baltimore, which is cool. But cool. He was kind of my more underrated guy. But yeah, I'm happy. So is Dejon Lee? Is he kind of the longer kid, or is that?
That's him. That's him. He looks like an avatar creature. Yeah, that's him.
Yep, I've seen some stuff on him. So I was wondering if that was the same guy or not. But I forgot about me. I mean, I think of him just as being there. Already kind of solidified, not as in like who I'm excited to kind of see. So forgot about him.
All right. Real quick before we get to the Q&A, I want to remind everyone of our other sponsor. We are 39 days away from Alabama football. To be ready for the season and every game on the weekend, you have to have your title towel. Go to www.whitwillsports.com today. Enter the promo code STANDARD. You get a nice little discount courtesy of your favorite network, the Bama Standard Network. That's right, folks. Get your towel and be ready to go to Tallahassee and come back.
And I need a new one, so I need y'all to send me another one. I don't know what happened to mine.
Whitwill Sports is in
this. You can have this one, Marvin. Take it.
Blowing your nose on it and everything else.
Probably lost it on one of those boats in the Caribbean.
Well, I mean, it's crazy. I've never even seen that towel in my life. Like, it's in just a visual. So,
all right, Whitwill Sports, we got to get Slade one. You got to get him one.
Send him a box.
Listen,
Yes.
listen.
I'll
folks.
go hand them out at the next Bama party.
There you go. Folks, we'll have a lot of folks in here, and we appreciate everyone in the audience tonight, and we definitely appreciate the questions, which we will get to. I got to let everyone know of next week's guest. Folks, we have the number 1 linebacker in the 2026 recruiting class, Xavier Griffin, 5-star. He's going to be coming in next Tuesday night. So y'all join us for that and be ready to learn about who's going to be the next legendary linebacker. That's right. Xavier Griffin will be with the Bama Standard. All right. They've waited long enough. Let's get to a few questions. Well, first of all, let's get to a super chat. Jordan Kane, $1.99. Roll Tide, guys. It's time to roll. We really appreciate that, brother. All right. Glenn T. Marvin Smoke, as a head coach, do you think DuBose was a good head coach?
Go ahead, Marvin.
How did we get in this? How did we get in this?
I love this question.
Stop trying to
I will answer the question. I will
Go
answer.
ahead.
As a head coach, I think he was a good coach, defensive mind like none other, man. D-line coach, defensive coordinator. He was great, man. I think a lot of times, his coaching career is overshadowed by the off the field activities and other things that went on. But I mean, you look at it, he took a team that had just came off probation his first year, 97. Team was first full recruiting class, 97. My class, 98, Smoked 99. So, the year we won the SEC championship in 99, he didn't even have 4 full recruiting classes. And the majority of our starters were freshmen and sophomores. So we were just kids out there just having fun, trying to figure out what to damn do half the time. But, so for a coach to come in and take that job, the pressure of Alabama, not having full recruiting classes, and for him to still win the SEC championship, I think he definitely gets a bad rap as a head coach and as a football mind.
Yeah, as a human being, great person. I still check in on Coach DuBose at least once a month. I'm going to say, just like Jake Coker, I think Coach DuBose gets a bad rap, and he's one of the most underrated coaches. And what Marvin just said, just getting a team off of probation. Within his first 2 years, he wins a SEC championship. We're ranked number 1 or 2 coming out. Now, a lot of the things, he's a young coach, not age, but in coaching career in terms of games. So I think if he would have had better people advising him on some of those decisions that he made in terms of hires, he should have fired a few more. And I think we would have had a better chance to stop listening to the outside noise and just kept the internal things in his mind straight ahead and focus on DuBose and us instead of letting the outside world affect him. I think Coach DuBose would probably still be at Alabama coaching right now because he has some guys that can recruit.
Yeah, wow. I think when you say those outside factors, I mean, if you look at some of the roster moves that were made in terms of who started versus who didn't, you could tell there was a lot of outside noise affecting who was starting. And we all know that, one of them was very questionable. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, and look, I think that leans to the question, how great of a head coach was he? A lot of people forget DuBose was the defensive coordinator, under the man Stallings and some of the greatest Bama defenses ever prior to what Saban put out there. But I think you kind of put it eloquently. I'm a Tuscaloosa guy. I played ball with his son. I love Mike Jr. He's one of the better guys I know. It's a good family. Dude, man. He's very much painted because of off the field stuff. And that's where it is. He was good when he had his lane, and Stallings, who kind of keeps things in line. But I think when he had everything to control, he was a good coach. Like you said, he was a hell of a recruiter. He related to the kids.
Yep.
He was a very players type coach, but like you said, the external stuff is what caught up to Mike, unfortunately.
And being a players coach at times cost him because being the defensive line coach, defensive coordinator, and having a bunch of buddies and coaches, assistant coaches that now he became their boss. It didn't go over well. But
we talking.
People got to hold on. People got to remember, Dabo Swinney did come from that tree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Jeremy Pruitt came from that tree. Coach Bloomberg came from that tree. So Coach DuBose did a hell of a job of getting really good assistants. I just wish that he told a lot of the guys that was on that staff that he was close to, shut the hell up. I'm making the decision.
So you're not going to put Lane Thompson in that decision?
You said
Lance Thompson.
Lane.
Lane, who's the heck is Lane?
I mean, what's the defensive line coach?
Lance
Thompson.
Lance,
Yeah, Lance Thompson.
Yeah, Coach Thompson, bro. Coach Thompson's the starting
Made a
coach.
profound impact on Marvin's life while he was there.
Obviously.
call me Lane.
All right, we got a question for Slade. Don Parker, would you consider getting into coaching? We can tell you still have love for the game.
Well, this goes back to kind of what we started talking earlier. Don, I appreciate the question. There was nothing that was ever going to fulfill me, as much as and just rewarding and just the satisfaction of what playing football did for me mentally and physically. But coaching was probably the next thing that could really like replace that feeling that I got. But to be honest, I don't think I could do it. And I'll tell you why. It's real simple. NIL transfer portal. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can deal with it. I mean, I've watched Holman Wiggins be on the road with 6 kids constantly, had a village at the house and couldn't be there. That was before NIL. That was before the transfer portal. I just think the game I love and the game we all loved and, we once played is not the same. I'm not saying that there are guys that are still playing, but I've heard so many stories, recruiting trips. These guys just want to see what that check looks like. And it's unfortunate and it's sad because of, that's, I think, another reason why Saban got out, just because the process and, developing your kid. I mean, these are the parents that are worried about checks now. They're not just the kids. It's no longer how we can develop your kid into a better man, a better athlete, what's going to set him up better for life. He's going to get a degree. He's going to become a better football player and hopefully get a chance to play at the next level. It's no longer about that. It's how much are you going to pay me? And I don't think, selfishly, I don't think I can sit across from a couch staring at a kid who's a receiver and say, hey, we want to offer you $500,000 to come to the University of Alabama, knowing damn well I thought I was better than his ass. So that is a selfish thing for me. But then again, it comes with the territory at that point. But, I don't know if I could do it. I think at the end of the day, nothing was ever going to replace playing. So that to me, I was just going to replace whatever was going to replace the financials of playing in the league. And fortunately, I can do that now.
Awesome. All right,
the other option, Coach Cochran's got a who's who of former Bama greats, over at West Alabama, doing it at the one place it probably is still kind of pure.
Mm-hmm.
Del B, Slade, who do you think is best suited for slot receiver this year?
How do I say this without being stereotypical? Or is it how do I
Just
buddy,
say it.
Are you talking about Slade Jr. when we were talking about him earlier?
Slade Jr., yeah. The white boy. No, I mean
Adams. He can fly.
I would assume he would be if he stays healthy. Without the same skin tone, I think he does have similar attributes to me, but he was faster for sure. And if Cole hears this, I know I could run better routes than him though.
I love it.
But he's making up for the lack of route running with some more tenths on that, or less tenths on that 40 or whatever, because I know he can. He's actually a real speed guy. He ran the 100 in high school and ran pretty well. So, but yeah, I would assume it's Cole, but I'd like to. I have a feeling it's going to be Ryan. Just not all the time. They're just going to get him in so many different positions to get him the ball. And defenses are going to know that, but that's why we have a good offense coordinator, and we're going to put him in positions. And I think Horton is probably the only true outside guy, but I think Rico Scott could be another sleeper. I've heard some good things about him. I know he's a good player. But I'd like to see – I think Cole is mainly going to be a slot guy. But I think Ryan will play the slot. I think even Jeremy, I think they're going to switch it up because other than maybe Horton, and I don't know if they got some more just kind of typical
There's
outside guys?
There's a kid down there named Latsier Brooks. He's from New Jersey.
Okay.
He'll put you a little bit more in the frame of Jalen Waddle, the explosive burst type of guy. Being at practice, Bernard, he can play the slot, and he's not the typical smaller slot. He's a thicker body guy that can win in contested situations just because how physical he is. Mm-hmm. And he reminds me a lot of Anquan Bolden when he was in the slot. Just you knew that he wasn't going to beat you with quickness, but it's hell to get around him and to get him off his spot once he wanted to get to where he wanted to get to. He owns it.
You said exactly what I was thinking, just because from a positioning, body position, being able to make those tougher of the middle catches, using his physicality is what and he runs great routes too. Mm-hmm. He's not, a speed guy. So from a route running and speed perspective, he could be a slot guy, but from a size perspective, he's not your typical slot guy. So you hit it right on the head. That's why I mentioned him.
Let me tell y'all something, man. If I was an offensive coordinator at Alabama, I would put Brooks to the field, but tight to the field. I would put Horton into the boundary, split out wide. I would line up Ryan Williams to the field, motion his ass back to the boundary, line up in the slot. Create that matchup, hopefully on a safety. Let Horton take the top off to the bound. Into the boundary, and then you still got Brooks coming across the middle on a drag or something in open space just sitting there. Because the DBs are going to respect Horton, they're going to respect Ryan Williams. You're going to create a matchup nightmare for whoever's on Brooks by just doing simple little things to create matchups. Smoke, you can put that towel over your head all you want to, but you know it's the truth.
And now, Jeremy Bernard's going to be the slot phenom this year.
Hey, Marvin, and take this. Listen, I love your defensive mind.
I'm just telling you from the standpoint of what we had.
Notice he said defensive mind.
You said wide to the boundary, Marvin. You lost me at that one because there ain't no wide.
We started getting backyard football all over. Hey, man, you go out and you run.
All right, Marvin.
Because you want a guy to the
annexation
boundary
of
who's
Puerto
going to catch the 50-50 ball. I want a guy who's going to catch that ball in the boundary.
What you just said, you said. I'm not going to agree or disagree with it. You said it. I'm going to let you run with it.
What I would do.
I personally would not put Ryan Williams ever in traffic. That's not his thing.
He's buffed up a little bit. He better be able to bang some.
Listen to me. Everyone always wants to say, well, just put him in the slot just because he's small, or put him in the slot just because he can't run outside. When you play nickel or the slot, it's a specialized position for feel, courage, and understanding. Mm-hmm. You just can't throw everyone in the middle of the field where all of the cars are and say, go in there and go win. Slade, you know it. It takes a grown-up with a lot of courage and instincts to understand when to pivot away, how to become visible and available to your quarterback and have strong those, what he just showed you, because everything that you catch is contested through traffic. That ain't Ryan's game. Leave him outside. Let him hang out there. Let him go. Let him take the cover off the defense. He's going to show you what the defense is in. Once he lines up, you're going to see the open field, split safeties, or closed field. That's it. Don't bring him inside and get the man hurt, Marvin. Stop it. Knock it off.
When like you said, when I said he was going to be in the slot, I'm talking inside fade routes. I'm talking flood routes.
Chop routes.
I'm talking, maybe the only time he's coming across the middle is like a deep cross route, but he's going to end up on the other side of the field where he's going to be away from the middle.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to throw him the ball in the middle of the field with a linebacker. No.
Switch releases with releases just to confuse him. Just put him in different positions.
I would put him in the slot is to get that matchup potentially on a safety. That's the main reason why I would put him in.
You know that kid in class that whenever you gave the answer, they always looked over your shoulder and said, "That's what I was going to say. That's mine."
But I said that eventually. Motion him to get a favorable matchup.
I'm just glad. Hey, Smoke, I'm just glad Slade said out loud what we were talking about just the other day, and nobody really ever says it out loud. Ever since Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, or Edelbutt as Randy Moss like to call him, They're looking for the Slades. They're looking for the fast white dude that's a great route runner, because that's what Smoke, what you're talking about. The slot, you got a little bit deeper of a route tree than the outside guys that are running the post, the goes, the stops, the do whatever. You've got a lot more, and you're going against a lot more. You've got to have a lot more knowledge of what defenses are doing in the coverages of the secondary. But you saying it out loud, like I said, Smoke, and then you bringing up Cole. I mean, Wes Welker and Edelman, man, they're the great white hope for us white receivers that can run and catch.
Yeah. Hey, well, I'll tell you this. Don't think I didn't run a lot of brother routes. And when you call it a brother route, get your brother open. I ran a lot of those too.
The clear out.
Hey, so you run this, and we'll get Mechie and JMO and all the others. First round picks the ball. Thanks, Coach. Oh, your slate's open on the fourth progression. We'll go throw him a 5 yards hitch or stick.
Just move the chains. A lot of those guys don't want to get in there and mix it up.
Yeah.
We got one last. It's going to be a super chat. Slade, which Bama wide receiver was the best you played with? Roll Tide. Thanks for coming on. That's from Gelato with $9.99.
Oof. I mean, well, it's this one and who's the best quarterback I played with is probably the two hardest. Obviously, the receiver, excluding myself, of course. The best receiver I played with. I mean, the easy answer is Smitty, right? Heisman winner, Blitnikoff. So this is where it gets tough because for me, as just like who I thought could potentially just be just a dominating person, like even if Smitty is so dominant, it's just that's so tough because they're all different. Judy ran routes like nobody I've seen. Ruggs could fly. Jameson, considerably comparable to Ruggs in a way, but had really good routes as well. Mechie was so smooth. Mechie was more like Smitty. Ran great routes, explosive, but just flow like water.
You left Waddle off.
Waddle though. But that's where I'm leading to. Waddle is probably the most impressive guy just because the things he would do, and it wouldn't even like Judy would make a cut and you're like, whoa. Like his visual awareness was unbelievable. Smitty's releases and his extension to get balls was unbelievable. Ruggs was just strong and fast. Mechie was just all around, just a great receiver on all aspects. But something about J-Dub is just, you just watch him, man, just like, God, man, that was impressive. So I think I always say the easy answer is Smitty, but if not knowing and thinking if they were going to always be healthy, there was never going to be a problem because Waddle's had some injuries, unfortunately. But hey, I know who's getting open on this route against a Pat or a Jalen Ramsey or Minka or whoever you can name, Sauce Gardner, all these guys. I'm putting more money on Waddle, if that makes sense. It's hard for me because they're all my brothers, but it's I think Waddle was he's so explosive, so fast. He'd go get the ball. He ran good routes. He was a problem to deal with. And that was it. But I would say probably Waddle.
Waddle in the open field is the most dynamic player I think we've seen in our era outside of Reggie Bush.
Yeah, and he can return punch, return kicks. I mean, he catch a swing out of the backfield and take it 90. Even though I don't know why you'd ever run a swing on your own 10, but he could do it. If you're going to throw it to somebody, if you're going to throw a swing on your own 10, it better go in 17's hands.
Marvin will call a screen backed up. That's Marvin's call. That's Marvin.
With my old roommate Freddie Millens, I sure would have because Fred would take him to the house too.
I agree.
All right, guys, we've gone over time, but we've had an awesome time. Slade, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a blessing to have you, brother. Before we go, everyone go around the room real quick. and I want you to tell the folks how they can find you. We'll start with Smoke, Pettey, Marvin, and then Slade will go last.
You can find me Mondays, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, opening kick right here on the Bama Standard. Tuesdays, Bama Standard with me, Marvin, Justin, Pettey. Slade's going to probably take my job. I'm fired because you do an awesome job. If you want to find me on X, you can get me at Coach GV Dixon. Follow all my content stuff. We'll get it going.
No, we're running quick. Pettey _ Daniel on the X, like Smoke said. Catch us Monday, 7 Central on the opening kick. Always cutting up, talking all SEC here on Tuesday night with the Bama Standard. All these lovely fellas. Marvin making faces down there. I'll be on in just a few minutes at the Final Whistle Network with Matt Caddell. Talks a lot. Chris James, Dan James, the whole crew. Come over and catch us here in about 20 minutes.
You can find me on Instagram, Constant45. You can find me on X, Constant451.
You talking to a lady right now through the TV? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know what he's doing.
Find me on X.
Hey, listen, I'm throwing my pitch out there so Slade may call me for some content one day.
That's what that was. My Instagram. You don't have to follow me, but my Instagram, TikTok, same thing. It's S18DE, and nobody uses Twitter anymore, but it's _Slade_10. And you can find me on LinkedIn now, baby.
Hey, your TikTok's still popping though.
Hey, every now and then, only if it's about Bama. That's about the only thing I got left going for me.
Man, we greatly appreciate you, brother. You're one of the best to ever do
thank
it.
y'all.
And we love celebrating what you did. Welcome to come on during the season. We could always use your input and hear what you got to say for sure.
Hey,
anytime, I say anytime, but whenever I have time.
Slade, I just connected with you on LinkedIn. As professionals, we have to stick together.
I agree.
That is the most useless network that everybody I know uses. It's insane.
I hate it, but
that to me.
Is what it
Hold
is.
on. Time out. I will say this. You say LinkedIn is useless.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you.
On your own time. You're on Bama Standard Time right now.
You are.
Yeah. You're on Bama Standard Time. Nobody wants to.
I know that standard. That time. hey, I told Justin real quick. I said 30 minutes.
And here we are.
Hour and 40.
There, I'm 40. Hey, we greatly appreciate everyone's
though.
time. We greatly appreciate the audience who supports us every single week. And I've already said enough. We greatly appreciate Slade Bolden. Well, that'll do it for us.
Thank you
You'll
guys.
see us
I appreciate
next
y'all.
week. Roll Tide, everyone.
Roll Tide, baby.
Get your LinkedIn, Marvin.